When preparing for any competition, the first thing you need to consider is what you're going to be doing, right? Things are no different for the CrossFit Open. Today we're going to be looking at the top 7 movements that you should be doing before the Open. Before I start rattling off movements, I just thought I'd let you know. I've listed each of these movements out in order from 7, least important, to 1, the most important movement that you need to be doing. But I also want you to recognize that this is my personal viewpoint. Yours may be different, and that's okay. As we've all got our own opinions, I'll invite you. If you think I'm wrong, let me know in the comments section. Likewise, if you think I've missed out on a movement altogether, let me know. And without further ado, number 7, box jumps. Box jumps? I hear you. Box jumps have only been included in about half of the Open so far. So what makes me think that they'll be included again? But this isn't a popularity contest. Nor is it a contest of how frequently a movement shows up. You can find that elsewhere. These 7 movements, rather, are what you should be focusing on in your preparation for the Open. So please, just hear me out. Box jumps have appeared in about 50% of the CrossFit Open so far, meaning they could show up again. But I haven't put them, as I stated, in the top 7 for this reason. Whilst a great conditioning tool, box jumps can also be considered a plyometric movement. It is the power development which accompanies plyometrics is where I feel box jumps can be most beneficial. Developing explosive power benefits multiple movements which could potentially appear in the Open. My recommendation? Don't just include box jumps into WODs, where the goal is to say do an MRAP. Also include max height jumps, where the goal is specifically power development. This is where the true benefits lie in this movement. Number 6, burpees. Now we're talking conditioning. Burpees are a great entire body movement. They can easily be included into any program, and improvements can be made at the elite level right through to those who are just beginning. And not to mention, burpees have appeared in about 90% of the CrossFit Open so far. Number 5, handstand walks or progression towards the handstand. I've included progressions into this category as handstand walks can be difficult, not just for the beginner, but even intermediate athletes can struggle. Handstand walking is a must skill in CrossFit. It doesn't matter how fit you are. If you cannot perform a skill such as the handstand, you will never progress into later rounds such as the quarterfinals or onwards to the games. It's just simply something we all need to progress towards. I see handstand walking as one which can be programmed intermittently within a weekly routine with regular and consistent practices. We can all make improvements in the handstand. Number 4, and my personal favourite, the rower. Aerobic capacity forms a pillar of what it means to be fit. When looking for the fittest on earth, you can expect that this is going to be assessed. Running will be very difficult to be monitored at the Open level. Further, there's likely brand deals going on between Concept 2 and CrossFit themselves. What does this mean? I think the rower is here to stay. If the rower doesn't show up, then you could have the unlikely prospect of the ski erg. If that's new to the game, we'll see. The rower has appeared in every Open so far. Number 3, you knew it was coming. Everybody's favourite, double unders. If you hate the double under, you're not alone. So many of us do. But like the handstand walk, the double under is a skill, and it is undeniable you require this ability. If you want to progress through the levels, work your double unders. Not only are they an excellent skill, they are a great conditioning movement which will augment all of your other training perfectly. Don't neglect this great movement. Number 2, the muscle up or progressions towards it. The muscle up is arguably the hardest movement in CrossFit. It requires tremendous strength, power, and skill. I want you to remember though, training towards the muscle up, you're going to be working on pull-ups and chest to bar pull-ups. Neglect this movement pattern at your peril. I cannot envisage a CrossFit Open where no pull-ups, chest to bar, or muscle ups are programmed. This movement is a must. And here we are. I invite you to pause for just a moment and contemplate. What is it that you think will be the number 1 movement? Just take a brief moment and think about that for a second. Well, here we are, guys. Let's find out. What do I consider to be the number 1 movement? Olympic lifting. Now I know what you're saying. Olympic lifting isn't just one movement. It's kind of multiple movements. I've even thrown thrusters into this group. The predominant feature of the Olympic lifting is the posterior chain lift, which is done in an explosive action. That's what I'm looking for in this movement. When you work on your Olympic lifting, you are not just improving your clean, your snatch, but you're also going to be working your front squat, your thruster, deadlifts, and if you think about it, even the wall ball. All of these movements mimic the movement pattern of an Olympic lift. For me, Olympic lifting is an undeniable number 1. So guys, is that what you thought would be the number 1 movement? If you would have gone with a different number 1, state what it is that you think should be there. Before I wrap it up, I just wanted to highlight something. The frequency you train these movements and the time you devote to each movement will be different for everyone. Beginners will not train the same way as what an elite level athlete would. You can't compare the two. But discussing this is going to be a whole other story, which I look forward to telling you later. But until then, take care.